Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. The hump day is here, the day of the hump day.
Is that the
Do the
day?
hump to hump.
Humpty
Do the hump
Dumpty.
to hump.
Maybe Humpty Dumpty was a hump guy.
Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Anyways,
Humpty
Humpty
Dumpty
Dumpty.
had
Have
a
you
great
been watching, have you been playing with the TikTok app at all?
TikTok.
TikTok, it's the fastest growing new app on the in the app universe.
What's that?
It's
is
basically 15-second videos of you goofing off, and there's editing capabilities and music addition, and it's big with the kids. I think the demographic is like 15 to 25.
When you first said TikTok, I thought maybe you were trying to imitate a clock or something.
The time was passing.
Tick-tock, tick-tock.
I don't think clocks do that anymore.
No.
They're digital. Now they go. I don't think they do that either.
They
If
do
your
on
clock
the-
is doing that, take it away.
Okay.
Anyways, so yeah, some entertaining and lots of entertainment in the cannabis industry today that we are going to attempt not to have too much fun with. But yes, some really interesting things. Today our guests include Raza Bukhari. Raza is the head CEO and chairman, co-chairman of, executive chair, co-chair of FSD Pharma. And if you haven't been following FSD Pharma, boy, you've been missing out. I mean, this is a company of firsts on so many levels in the capital market space.
They like to be innovators.
And they like to be big. Everything is done on a large scale. For example, they came to market trading with the largest float in the history of the CSE, with 1.4 billion, largest capital structure. I guess it wasn't all float at the time it started trading.
Yeah.
Anyways, came to market trading with 1.4 billion shares, of which, what was it? It was interesting because the control of the company...
201 for one was the rollback.
Oh, and well, okay, so we're getting to that.
Okay.
So they came to market with the biggest capital structure in the history of the CSE.
Yeah.
They were the highest volume trader on a single day.
Was it like 100? It was crazy
130
numbers.
million shares or something crazy like that, yeah. And then,
Yeah.
arguably, they were the fastest, I don't know, it shot up to 97 cents. Anyways, it's been a company of firsts, and now it has done the largest ever rollback of a trading entity on the CSE at a 200 for one rollback.
I think the previous record was 200.
And they just had to do
Well,
it.
they had to, you know.
They had to
it's
beat
like,
it.
what's the tallest building in the city? And this guy says 68 or 70 stories, and they can say, oh, I'm going to build 171.
So, well, that's the...
I know, I'm not saying that's what happened, but...
No.
But
anyways...
So the stock is now 480.
Yeah, which is interesting because it was a 7-cent or a 6-center.
Yeah.
They did a private placement at 20. The CEO Raza put in shares at $20. He was telling me, even though the stock at the time was $7 post rollback. Now it's trading down to 480. But it's
What do you think there? I mean, what's the game plan? Do you think?
well, the game plan I believe is to list the company on a larger U.S. exchange
And build a business.
and build a business. When you see the interview with Raza, you'll see that he's very much focused on building a business. He's put his own money in. He's getting $1 a year in salary, which right there, that tells you that this guy has drank the Kool-Aid, and so that's kind of the guy you want.
Did he make some money somewhere along the way to be able to?
We didn't talk about his past because it's only a 10-minute interview.
Okay.
And this is one of a first in a series that we'll be covering FSD now because it's interesting on a few levels. Metaphorically, they've taken it from a penny stock to an institutional grade story, arguably. A financing done at $20 a share.
You wouldn't say they did it on substance. They did it on form. They just crossed some T's and dotted some I's. And
well, but they basically took the structure down from 1.4 billion shares outstanding to 7.9 million. Now, in terms of being attractive as a speculative investment in the future, I'd much rather put my money into something that I'm going to share with 7.9 million mouths down the road as opposed to 1.4 billion. That's my way of looking at it.
I think that's a great way to look at it. And I would say that the stock has a better chance of going from 480, 490, especially knowing the volatile nature of these types of markets.
Yeah.
Somebody might be in there saying, okay, well, let's just take it all, and then something happens, an announcement's made, and next thing you know, it's trading at $50.
Couple of interesting news bits. Sundial announced management transitions today. They've been under a lot of heat. The stock's been tumbling quite a bit.
Yes.
The president, Jeff Thompson, is transitioning to an advisory role and expects to join the board of directors in 2020.
Okay.
And the chief financial officer, or rather the chief operating officer, Bryan Harriman, is going to take over as CEO.
Okay.
So I guess that's as a result of, do you have a sundial chart for us, SNDL?
I can put that up.
Yeah.
Post haste.
Post haste, NASDAQ, SNDL. It's a pretty interesting story. It's a Calgary company that went straight to NASDAQ.
Here we go. Now that is a, I'm going to put up a...
That is a sad story looking there.
Okay, let's put up a 6-month chart. I think that's what I know. We're going to go with a year. Well, it's longer than a year.
Looks like 6 months to me. No, that's a year?
Yeah, that's a year. That's a year.
Nope, that's 3 months.
What is that? That's 5 years. You know, I don't know what's
that's
going
5
on
days.
here. What's going on?
Wow. Look
Is
at
this,
you're going.
I don't know what.
You're going wild over there. His first day with the new Lamborghini. That's the thing about this TradingView program, Ed, is it's actually so robust and configurable that you really got to be careful which button you touch, because you can find yourself wondering what you're looking at as you're proving to be the case.
I'm wondering what I'm looking at right now. Okay, so I think, this is, here we go. This is where,
let's start again.
Iconic.
What's the time frame here?
6 months.
6 months, all right. So quite the sell-off there, starting in, what was that?
Doesn't even look like 6 months, does it?
Looks like a month.
September, so this is August. So August, September, October, almost 3 months. But when I hit, I'm having difficulty here, but we'll get it resolved, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. So there's the 14th of October. Whoa.
There we go.
Whoa.
Well, look at this. This is the early day action, up and down.
I'm betting
and around she goes.
That's got to be April. No?
It says August, but something, or maybe August of last year. You know what? I'm a little flummoxed right now.
Okay.
I don't want to be flummoxed.
The other interesting press release that I saw today was Hexo. Now, I mean, I kind of don't want to sound like I'm choosing Hexo to beat up on. But
you remember you used to own that way back when, and it went up, and you sold it, and it doubled from there. You thought, and I kept telling you, sell it, sell it, sell it. You sell it, it just keeps going.
No, that was not me.
Oh, okay.
I don't think. I mean, I remember owning Hexo and I sold it when they announced the Molson deal.
Yeah, that's right. And it did nothing but go up after that for a little while.
Yeah, but
let's
anyway,
take a look at
they've
Hexo.
announced that they've got a $70 million debenture financing underway.
I thought they were supposed to announce the results.
Well, that's the curious thing about the timing of this, and in the context of all of the curious behavior that has characterized the reporting of earnings and the projection of earnings in the cannabis space, it strikes me as either extremely bad intuition to decide that, you know what, instead of putting out our financials tomorrow as promised, that we've already removed the expectations of a positive quarter, instead of just following through on that, let's put out instead this great $70 million debenture, of which the insiders are 10%.
Yeah.
And
well, Well, it's good to know that the insiders have some money.
Well, I mean, where did, the insiders obviously took the money off the table earlier in the chart, would be my cynical explanation. Also, strikes me as extremely bad timing, especially in the wording of the press release that, well, since we got this debenture, we're going to have to delay financials again. Now, this is the annual financial, which is the audited financial. So usually the only reason that a company delays an audited financial is because the auditor has not signed off on it yet, and it's usually because they have some objection to the accounting that has been presented to them as auditable. And so
what do? They say, well, there's no problem here. We can raise $70 million.
Well, this is the thing. It's like, over here, look,
See?
$70 million.
See?
$70 million. Get that away from
They're
here.
they're saying to Ernst and Young, whomever they
That's
are,
right.
You're going to get paid. See, I told you, you're going to get paid.
Oh, but I mean, it's curious to say the least. I mean, I would love nothing more for Hexo to come out with their now 1 week further delayed financials and blow all of our minds and prove the naysayers wrong, and it's just a coincidence. But also it's just too comically fun to resist to say that, are they raising $70 million now so that they can, have money left after they finish selling all of their marijuana at a loss to the black market replacements? Just kidding. Don't take it seriously. I'm working on my comic material here. But anyways, a real curious press release. The market, let's pull up a chart of Hexo.
Okay.
What's Hexo doing today? See if we can get an intraday chart up there.
Let's go for the 5 day. See what 5 day. There's a 5 day. And
All
look
right.
at, since they made the announcement.
Oh, so the announcement came, or the market opened and gapped up. What time did
No,
that?
they had it halted for a while.
Oh, okay.
And I think they might have halted it right, and that's where it came back. And look, it shot up to about 375. Now it's back to 348. What I, and I'll clear this off here, but I think the very important thing in the very short run is this. That was a spike high off the earnings warning, and now we're basing out here. Again, this is only a 5 day chart, but point is, on this rally today, not quite as high. You know what? This is the problem with the sector. The rallies are being met with more than adequate selling.
Yeah.
And if that happens, the selling's greater than the buying.
Right. Okay. Well, so let's juxtapose this selling in Hexo here.
Okay.
So basically, this chart says to me that the market was excited by the prospect of a $70 million non-dilutive debenture at 8%, which is reasonable. And then once the finer print set in, they were not so impressed with the fact that this appears to be, in that it's sharing top billing space in the first paragraph with the actual debenture, the fact that they're going to delay their financials by a week, their annual financials. That's an alarming thing to happen in any company, never mind a cannabis company.
Yeah, but to be able to raise that money, I guess it must be a secured debenture. I mean, people are looking at the assets thinking,
well, I haven't looked at the debenture terms, and is it first senior secured or is it non-secured? We don't know that.
well,
It's one thing to, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I don't want to speculate. The industry's been beat up enough. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt and see if they're going to deliver financials on time that, that restore confidence in the company and its direction. That could happen. Compare this to the trading in...
unsecured convertible debentures. Unsecured.
Okay, so that is a true leap of faith. Convertible. Did you say convertible?
Convertible.
Convertible. Does it say what the conversion terms are?
It does.
Oh,
But
great.
I haven't read it yet.
Oh, well, tell you what.
Why don't I
you
read
read
it?
the conversion terms. I just read the headlines. Anyways, so compare that to the trading in Village Farms. Village Farms International. I'm going to pull up that chart. I'm going to pull up the TSX one. So Village Farms closed a bought deal put together by GMP Securities at
Interesting conversion
$28.75 million. And the market is taking the stock higher, as we can see here on my, maybe we can't. What's going on over there? No NDI. Where is it? It's disappeared. There it is. I upgraded my computer. Maybe that's the problem. Can you see me? Tommy, can you see me? Okay, so this is 1 day. Let's go back to 1 month chart. So this is where the financing was done in here. Sorry, what was the date of that? But anyways, bought deal, market has taken the stock higher. The bought deal was done at, was it $9.50 a share in the case of Village Farms? Let's take a quick look here.
You know what the conversion price is on the Hexo?
Okay, so the bought deal was done on Tuesday this week at $28.75 million at a price of $9.40 a share, and the stock is higher. So this is a financing for which the market is expressing support. And
they gave it the blessing.
Exactly. Juxtapose that with Hexo that started off with a bump, but turned into a grind lower. Let's not lower than it.
You know what the conversion is on the debenture?
What's the conversion?
I was a little shocked at this. $3.16. It's in the money.
The conversion is in the money.
The conversion is in the money. In other words, the stock's above the conversion. You don't usually see that. That's
even
like
the convert
saying
is at a discount.
We want your money. We're prepared to pay to get your money.
And is the conversion called by the bondholder or by the
well, you know what?
company?
Again, there's more details there.
Yeah.
You know, let's.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
the conversion is in the money. That represents a discount to the trading price, basically.
Well, that's right. But usually you don't see that. Usually it's okay.
Okay, I'll bet you that's more why the sell-off is setting in now, is because investors are saying, "Hey, wait a second. Yeah, I got debentures in the money, but that means that I'm actually the unit is discounted, and if you're not in that debenture, you're basically suffering the effects of dilution, which you're not too happy about, especially if you've been long suffering since $7.58 a share. Anyways, enough beating up on poor old Hexo. What else we got?
Well, you got lots of things going on. You know, the S&P, for I mean, I'm trying to recall a time when there was. It just seems like it just can't get over this 3,000, 3,025.
It's high centered on the hump in the middle of the road.
Yeah, can't get over the hump.
Even on hump day, it can't get over the hump.
You know what? Isn't that interesting?
Damn. So the S&P today is essentially flat.
It's down. It's basically flat. It's like
Okay.
it's down a point. It looks like
Right.
a point, which on 29.95 is nothing.
Okay. Let's take a look at our cannabis indexes here and see how the markets generally are performing. Interestingly, we have a green day in the large cap and the small cap, red days in the venture and the CSE. Much like the S&P, well, the large caps have actually tacked on 2.47% today. Let's pull up the big index page here and see which company is driving that gain.
I noted weed was up a good solid, about $1 or something like that, right?
Weed is up 3.37%, up 93 cents to 28.55.
Yeah.
Aurora is up 2.77% to 482, up 13 cents. Kronos Group is up 4.97% to 1140. So the three, and here's Cresco is up 6.13%. Interesting. So Cresco and
Organogram?
Not Organogram. Cresco and
Organ Grinder.
I keep wanting to say Canna Royalty.
Cresco sounds like a magician.
Yeah.
Amazing Cresco.
Anyways, it's not in the list.
Okay, moving right along.
There was a press release here somewhere I saw. Cresco and Origin House. Thank you. Where did I see that? Oh, another interesting news bit there I just wanted to comment on was our friends at Province Brands have patented a new form of hops, or yeast. for making beer out of cannabis seeds.
They're turning yeast into hops.
No, that would be alchemy. Anyways,
shall we take a look at what the interest rates are doing today?
well, let's go there. Let's see what the world is saying.
You know, I'll tell you, with the amount of debt that we have on this in the central banking system, if that's the right terminology, you know, if rates were to move up suddenly, and I'm not saying they are, 176. So I just want to say, you know, there's trillions and trillions of dollars in debt. We've got this nice big double sort of dip here. If this breaks out of that pattern to the upside and starts hitting 220, 225, it's going to cause a lot of problems. A lot of problems. Anyway, so far, it seems that everything seems to be under control.
Okay. Elevate Products and Brands and Canopy Rivers are now in a relationship together.
Really?
Yeah, they got hitched.
What kind of relationship?
Well, it's a three-way.
Menage a...
Quatre. Anyways, no, the Canopy Rivers and Kindred Partners. Kindred, a specialty cannabis brokerage and services company, announced a strategic alliance to provide mutual benefits to Canopy Rivers and its portfolio companies in Kindred. Now, that's an interesting, obviously beverage-oriented deal. Kindred is wholly owned by Breakthrough Beverage Group. So
Breakthrough Beverage Group.
Yeah, it's interesting to me that all of these cannabis companies are
Partnering up?
well, they're all making moves towards in anticipation of the edibles and beverages.
The next wave.
Yeah, the next wave, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know.
Are you looking forward to trying cannabis-infused beer or any beverages? No?
Not
edibles? Really. Gummies?
You know, the gummy thing, I think, works in certain...
It seemed to work well on you. I don't think I've ever heard you quite so philosophical and erudite in my whole life.
Erudite?
Erudite.
You know what? I don't know. I mean, people want to get a buzz, right? That's the whole idea.
People want to get high.
People want to get high with a little help from my friends. Yeah.
That. Anyways, so we had, of course, a great conversation with Raza Bukhari, incoming co-chair of FSD Pharma, that has gone from a penny stock to a dollar stock thanks to a 201-for-1 rollback. But when you listen to him, I think you're going to agree that it's a different day for FSD, and I'll let you make that call. Here's the interview. I'm here with Raza Bukhari. He is the executive co-chairman and CEO of FSD Pharma. Raza, welcome.
Thank you for having me on your program.
Of course. Raza, FSD Pharma has been the subject of much speculation since it was the largest ever IPO on the CSE when it happened. It was the largest trader ever in the history of the CSE, and now it's done the biggest rollback ever in the history of the CSE for a trading company. And so the symbol, huge, remains so relevant to this company. But tell me about the recent rollback. What is the thinking behind that? It seems like it was done strategically with a specific objective in mind.
Yeah, so thank you again for having me on your show. And FSD Pharma is a huge opportunity for us and our shareholders in this ecosystem, which is groundbreaking, and it is something that we are hoping that over time the strategic and tough decisions that we are taking are going to produce dividends. So
dividends.
And hopefully will give dividends.
Wow.
in a big way.
Sure, forward-looking statement here.
and which I hope that a forward-looking statement that I make not only as a fiduciary, but also as a shareholder and an investor. And when I gather a compensation of $1 as the CEO, but we just finished a round of investment, a private placement in the company at around 4.5 million at $20.10 when the stock is trading rather low. And I led that with a $1.5 million USD investment myself because we believe that this is the best time to invest in the company. We did this stock consolidation based on a strategic plan that was put into motion in the fall of last year when we announced our strategic intent to uplist on a major US exchange. I was very fortunate that the FSD Pharma board gave me an opportunity to lead the effort. I was named the executive co-chair with one of the founders, Anthony Dorcas, and we embarked on that process to list on a major exchange. And one of there are many steps that we had to take, including composing an independent board. Today, we are proud to report that we have 8 board members. 5 of them are independent, including a former United States member of Congress sits on our board. We have CEOs and 2 CEOs, one former CEO, one sitting CEO, and another Washington insider, David Urban, who actually helped elect President Trump, put him into White House by winning Pennsylvania for him. I'm from Pennsylvania, so I kind of have to give the plug for that.
Sure.
But another important step for that effort was that we go to shareholders, and we did a special shareholder meeting in January of 2019 and sought their permission that we have to consolidate the stock so it becomes investor grade, number one, so that more institutional investors beyond our retail shareholders, which are the thrust of our investor base, and we are very appreciative of their support that they have provided us. 50,000 plus retail shareholders in Canada primarily and elsewhere that support us, and we thank them for that. But for this FSD story to continue forward as a medicinal grade grow facility, plus to also become a pharmaceutical research and development company that is advancing clinical trials of synthetic compounds, we have to have more visibility into major capital markets and also attract institutional grade investment. And for that, we need the uplisting, we need stock consolidation. And so here we are today, and we thought that October 11th was the time to announce, and October 16th we have begun to trade at a consolidated number.
Sure. Okay. So the idea behind the consolidation is to move up to the NASDAQ, I'm assuming?
It is one of the two. So it is, either is NASDAQ or NYSE. I am constrained by my lawyers not to disclose the exchange.
Okay.
But it's one of the two.
Okay, great. Now tell me about the current revenue footprint of the company in terms of products, what's it producing, what are the longer development sort of revenue streams on the horizon that investors can keep their eyes looking?
So we were fortunate to get our sales license, which was much awaited, at the end of second quarter of 2019. So in Q3, we are about to disclose our financials, but we will announce that we have top-line revenue, which come from core sale of cannabis. And I am hopeful that every quarter we will post revenues, which I hope are comparable to the previous quarters that we have reported, because it is important for us as a company that we generate revenues from our core product, which is the medicinal grade cannabis that we are growing in our 25,000 square feet facility. when I became the CEO in February of earlier this year, we made a decision to distance from rapid growth and to focus on profitability and make measured growth investments. So use our capital that we had raised, $53 million that we had raised and went public on May 29th of last year, of 2018, that we should only deploy capital and forecasted that there is some level of a supply glut that is emerging in the marketplace. So today, we are one of those fortunate companies that do not carry a long-term debt on our books. Our non-cash assets are $72 million, as we have reported on June on our Q2 financials, and I hope that, and I believe that they will remain comparable even in our Q3 financials. We have cash on hand. We have raised that we have announced $4.5 million through a private placement at $20.10. We are closing the second tranche on October 31st, which is Halloween day. Hopefully, we will still be able to get some more capital in. With that capital raise, our existing cash on hand we have 20 million or so marketable securities that we have, and our assets, which is primarily our real estate at Coburg facility, we have a runway of nearly 4 years to remain as a going concern. So I feel that we have quite a good and a strong outlook, and our better days are ahead of us.
You bet. Okay, well, that's a great introduction, Raza. Thanks for joining us today. We'll come back to you soon.
Thank you so much for having me on your program.
Let's talk about Aurora. Recently, your financials, you've more or less delivered on
Here are the headlines moving markets today.
If you're lucky to buy it 3 days ago at 37 cents,
And I think it has a lot to do with some of these smaller names giving really...
Recreational cannabis is here. It's quite dry. So I'm going to eliminate the stocky bits. So Miami Beach has officially banned cannabis smoking in public.
Miami Beach.
Miami Beach. And if you get caught, you get a $500 fine.
Right. Right.
Mm-hmm. So
what's the correct? It's legal though, but you can't smoke it in public.
Correct.
Right. That'd be like that's like saying beer's legal, but you can't drink beer in public.
Yeah. So basically, stay home and drink your beer.
And don't spend any money on the economy.
How many, do you know how many drive-through cannabis operations there are in
Florida?
Yeah.
Well, Trulieve has 33 or 34.
Drive-throughs?
Oh, not drive-throughs. Dispensaries.
Yeah.
Oh, you want a drive-through?
Yeah.
I have no idea. Maybe it's one big one.
The whole country is a drive-through marijuana vending machine.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah. But you could get 60 days in a county jail, too.
60 days?
60 days in the hole.
Can you imagine Ace going into solitary confinement for
smoking weed? Yeah.
Well,
I got yanked off a bus in Georgia once for smoking dope by a cop. I was smoking it in the bathroom.
Was the cop smoking the dope?
No.
You said smoking dope by a cop.
Yeah, I was smoking dope and I was hauled off the bus by a cop.
Okay.
You had the comma in the wrong location.
Oh.
Yeah.
Comma, chameleon. Okay.
And the other story that I thought was interesting is that CNN...
How many are there?
Stories?
Drive-ins.
There's an unlimited number every day.
So you weren't looking for an answer, like drive-in shops.
Oh, the drive-ins.
What are you talking about?
Oh, we moved on from that.
Unlimited.
No.
But you didn't tell us.
That's because I don't know. I was asking, do you know how many drive-in?
No. The answer is no.
Harborside operates the only drive-through cannabis vending operation, and it's in California, not in Florida. I was juxtaposing it to Florida because Florida is the only state where you can actually, they have a drive-through liquor vending permits at some bars. So you can actually drive through and get a mixed drink in a cup with a lid on it. And that's legal.
Right.
In, I think it's Apopka, Florida. Or is it Orlando?
Right.
Anyways, that's to me intriguing that they would serve drinks to people driving.
Right.
But anyways, things when you see them in the Globe and Mail or the National Post, they're still page 16 generally on U.S. big media. But so CNN Business is reporting that that cannabis firms are hopping onto, these are hopping on the non-alcoholic beer wagon in the United States.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it says the rise of the sober curious consumer and movements such as Sober October and Dry January. I haven't heard of that one.
Dry January.
Dry January.
Everybody quits after Christmas, New Year's resolution for a month in January. That's when they do it.
No.
The real
No.
hardcore drinkers though do it in February.
People
because there's
quit
only
in
28
January because they're so
28 days.
hungover.
No.
Yeah. Nobody makes their New Year's resolution. That's why they're called resolutions.
Well,
if it was just like everybody actually affected a change in their lives every January, then it wouldn't be a resolution. It would be an actual change in your lifestyle thanks to the New Year's holiday, which I don't buy that. I'm not buying it. Dry January?
Dry January.
God, if there was a time you needed a drink, it would be in January. I'm going to have a sip of coffee right now.
Right. I don't know. A lot of people go January, but
anyways, the makers of cannabis-infused beer are developing brews free of booze as well as bud. Now in Canada, you can't actually mix booze with cannabinoids, THC, legally, even with this new Cannabis 2.0 malarkey we're hearing about, right?
Right.
So there will be no getting high and drunk in one sip.
No.
And that's got to be a bit disappointing for somebody like you.
Yeah, I haven't been able to sleep. I sweat a lot. I'm thinking, but maybe they should be asking me what kind of product to bring out, right? Maybe I'll tell them, right? I get it. Yeah, no, I've been lamenting over that one. Okay.
Fluorotech announced September and Q3 revenues of $116,000. Fluorotech are the makers of our trusted cannabis testing device with which we test our dried cannabis for THC and CBD content.
Really?
Yeah, so that's important because they've started to generate revenue from the sales of these machines, which clearly means that they are working. So we're going to have some more cannabis to test here. On Friday, I'm going to bring in cannabis that I have grown and cured myself, and we'll see how closely it matches what it was supposed to generate. It was skunk number 1, which was supposed to be at least 18% THC and almost no CBD. So we're going to put the machine to the test. Now,
116,548, is that the number?
Yeah.
That's the revenue number.
Well, that's amazing. You know, going to just go by on the screen or something?
That's what it did. It just went by on the screen.
Well, I thought you just pulled it out of your memory.
My memory bank.
Your memory
That's the only
bank.
kind of bank I have is a memory bank because I have no cash.
Well, and no memories. So basically your banks are bust.
Banks are buds?
Banks are buds.
Banks? Huh?
Bang buds.
What?
You haven't heard of bang buds?
Bang buds. That's like a party or something, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bang buds. That's what happens when you mix a pop rocks with moon rocks.
And
have you ever tried moon rocks?
Moon rocks?
Moon rocks.
No.
No? Do you know what moon rocks are?
No.
It's basically cannabis buds rolled in live resin and coated with hashish.
Really?
Yeah, you haven't tried moon rocks? Oh, we're going to get some moon rocks.
Let's
on
get
the
some
show.
moon rocks.
This is what I'm wondering. In the context of the new cannabis rules, are moon rocks legal? Do you know?
Probably not.
Okay, tell you what we're going to do. We're going to take this opportunity to talk to a gentleman in the UK who is hosting a conference on cannabis in the UK at the end of November. And his name is Nikolaas Faes. Nikolaas Faes. And he's with the firm Bryan, Garnier and Company. And here's what we talked about. My next guest is Nikolaas Faes. He is the beverage and cannabis specialist at Bryan, Garnier & Co., a European full-service growth-focused independent investment banking partnership founded in 1996. Nikolaas, welcome.
Thank you, James. It's an honor to be on your show.
Great. You're a specialist then in beverages in the cannabis industry, and the UK especially has been less than aggressive in implementing laws that would permit certainly beverages on the recreational side. Even on the medical side, there's been a bit of reluctance in actually deploying cannabis to patients. What is the status of beverages and more broadly the cannabis industry in the UK presently?
And for the moment in the UK, it's only a medicinal market, like most parts in Europe. And like you said, the access for patients towards medical cannabis has been very limited so far in the UK. Also because the previous Prime Minister, Theresa May, although she agreed to allow medicinal cannabis in the UK, was not really a strong in favor of this market. I think in the current Prime Minister Boris Johnson, things might change. Of course, currently he has other things on his plate like Brexit. But I have an impression that is that's hardly being worked behind the scenes on preparing a more open policy towards medicinal cannabis. And you saw Canopy Growth only a couple of days ago announcing their opening of a warehouse in London for cannabis. And clearly they're doing that because they know that things are starting to move on.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's just a case of transforming the status quo in the UK is taking a bit longer than normal, I guess, because of the conservative nature of society there.
Conservative nature and also other things. You can't get around the entire Brexit debate here in the UK, which has absolutely nothing to do with cannabis.
Right.
But,
right. Okay. So then, what are you covering in your capacity as a cannabis beverage specialist in the space?
Well, I'm doing beverages and cannabis, so I'm doing the likes of AB InBev, Molson Coors, or Panorica, or Diageo, as well as some of the cannabis names like Canopy or Tilray or Aurora. So, and in that sense, the entire development that we're going to see in Canada in the coming months is going to be an interesting part of how beverages and cannabis are going to be competing for the same customer. Sure.
Well, I think it's interesting, Canopy especially, who is now majority owned by Constellation Brands, which is, unequivocally a beverage-focused conglomerate. I'm curious as to, though, do you see the consumers adopting cannabis-infused beverages enthusiastically, or do you think that's going to take a while to sort of people to get used to in the markets where they can access them recreationally?
Well, currently in the states in the US where cannabis beverages are allowed, cannabis beverages only take a very minor part of the total cannabis consumption. About 2% of cannabis is consumed towards beverages. But of course, those beverages are from a totally different type than the beverages that that the joint venture, Molson Coors Hexo or Constellation Brands Canopy, or Tilray AB InBev have been developing. They are, I would say, far less open to new consumers than just wanting to tap into the old consumer. So I do think that there is a significant opportunity in beverages. And when Molson Coors estimate the Canadian cannabis beverages market at anywhere between 1.5 and 3 billion Canadian dollar, I can only confirm that if you would assume that beverages take 2% of market share of all the sports drinks, of all the enhanced water drinks, of all the beer, alcohol, spirits, then you come at around $1.5 billion US dollar of a market. So that's only if you assume it's only 2% of that market retail value. So it could be significant in Canada. Using the same analogy then and same calculations for the US, well, then you come at a market which is 15 to 20 billion US dollar large. And also there we will see very soon, potentially even before we see launches of cannabis beverages in Canada, we might see cannabis beverages, CBD beverages being launched in the US before October, December the 17th.
Right. Yes. No, I've actually sampled some cannabis infused beverages in the U.S. with varying results. I'm not personally much of a recreational cannabis enthusiast anymore. I was in my youth, obviously, but I find it interferes too much with a train of thought these days, and so the only CBD the only cannabis I consume is in CBD form, which has some excellent sort of nutritional benefits. So but the marketplace is certainly getting very excited about cannabis beverages. And Molson and Hexo have now established that they're going to move forward with this new joint venture, as we're still expecting to see some developments from Canopy and Constellation, and then Tilray is doing a joint venture as well, which was interesting. So how soon till Europe sort of catches up with the United States and Canada?
So all those three joint ventures, and then also some of the smaller players that do have their products ready to be launched in the coming months. Joint ventures as the Hexo Molson Coors joint venture or Tilray InBev, they can easily transfer the learnings from the Canadian market to the US or to the European market. And the Molson Coors, for example, is also a large player in the beverages market, in the beer market in the UK. So we can easily see how they would take those learnings from Canada and very soon afterwards, the moment that it is allowed in the UK, start selling those beverages.
Mm-hmm. All right. So then I noticed last time I was in the UK, I saw that there was abundant supplies of CBD on the shelves of the local drugstores, but they were very typically of extremely low dosages of CBD only, no THC except for trace amounts. Is that, and I saw that most of those are supplied by EU members. Is that likely to change with what's happening with Brexit, or is even today it's not even clear if a deal is going to be ratified in time for October 31st or not? But if it was, would that have an effect on the suppliers of CBDs on the shelves in the UK now?
Well, it will of course, it will have an impact, and there will be some supply issues that could play. Probably even more importantly is how the European Union itself will start looking at those products which are being supplied. There is something as a novel food regulations which actually prohibit new foods, including foods which contain CBD, to be put on the shelves without any regulatory approval. So the question is, how soon, how quick is the EU or the UK government, for that sake, going to try to implement those rules slightly more stricter? And that is one thing. On the other hand, we see some companies being cleverly positioning themselves within the CBD market by using other European regulations. And Karen, only last week, has gained approval from European regulators to start selling its Cuida beauty products, including the CBD offering. So some companies are moving towards using the European regulators to be more legal, being able to offer those products. And in the end, that could maybe mean that some of the existing products will have to be withdrawn from the shelves.
Right. Okay, well, we will wait and watch with interest what happens with Boris Johnson and Brexit and see how that affects you guys. Hey everybody, welcome back. So the beverage industry is interesting in the UK in a very funny way. So high traders today on the TSX Venture. It's led by ProTech Home Medical. Do you remember that name, ProTech Home Medical? No, you don't, because it used to be Patient Home Monitoring.
Was that Patient Home Monitoring?
That was Patient Home Monitoring.
What's the ticker?
The symbol is now PTQ.
Let's just take a peek.
It's up 6 cents today at $1.04. Now this story has gotten a lot better, and it's interesting. Let's take a look at what do you got there, Ed?
There's a 3-month chart. Now this thing, 80 cents to $1.04. Mm-hmm. That's 3 months. Do a little analysis here. Look at this. That's a nice little move in a market that's been, characterized as lethargic, to say the least.
So this thing got rolled back 6 ways till Sunday, and assets sold out of it. So I don't know if you were still a shareholder from the Patient Home Monitoring days.
So this is a different. This was a lot lower and it got rolled back.
Yes, sir.
And now they're going for round 2.
Yes.
Okay.
And in the form of Patient Home Monitoring, it actually touched a high above $2 before crashing back to earth.
So $2. So you're saying this is was it a 6-for-1 rollback?
I don't know.
Okay.
That's what I don't know. I stopped following it after it went back to 40 cents. Second highest trader on the TSX Venture is Enthusiast Gaming, up 5 cents at $2.02, where it seems to be treading water lately in that range. Your old pals at Zbeck Absorption are number 3 on the TSX Venture.
Really?
658,000 shares traded, down 2.5 cents to $1.51. But I remember the first time we talked to Kurt, it was 75 cents, and that was like, what, 2 years ago? Not even.
Yeah, maybe 3 years ago. That's when I went to the annual
more
meeting.
Recent than that, but that's 100% gain.
I bought my first position, my first 100,000 shares at 11 cents. And it was
still holding it?
Solding it. I'm solding it.
And then number 4 is Pipestone Energy is down a nickel at $1.10. Cobalt 27 Capital is up 4 cents to $4.30 on 722,000 shares traded. The CSE index, large volume trader of the day is Canna Royalty Corp. Last at $5.22, down 46 cents or 8.1%. Cureleaf Holdings is down 20 cents to $7.16. Cresco Labs is up 47 cents to 8.47. Ianthus is up 22 cents to 2.38, and Harvest Health and Recreation is down 6 cents to 3.59. Interestingly about Ianthus, remember that stock was $5.
IAN.
Yeah, IAN. That's correct.
And what length of term you want me to put up here?
Oh well, a year would be nice.
Well, it's moved from $1. Look at this. This is I'm kind of impressed to see, it moved to $2.35. It got down to $1.50.
From where was it in April?
April, it was, let's see here. Where's April? Okay, but I got to go to 1 year. Well, you see, when you extend out the term, it doesn't look as that's a very significant move there at the end. And in the last year, it still looks to me, we've got a trading range. Now it's looking like it may be trying to.
So what are your candle intervals on that? Is that 1 day?
Yeah, that looks like 1 day. Each
so it's been
candle's
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days of uptrends.
Yeah, and without, it's gone up.
That is a decisive reversal.
But you remember, we've had, look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 down days, and then one green day, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 down days. You get the picture here, right? Little green shoot here, green, green, green. So, but the moves aren't, they're still within that channel of downward trend. I don't see any evidence.
Okay.
That's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see clearly, for instance, here's a, sorry, just about had it. That could be, this is going to take a lot of trading to get this turned around.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's just it. To me, it looks like Ianthus is exhibiting signs of a decisive reversal, though it is still in the same range of reversal, 8 days more or less of uptrend that constitutes in the past just a dead cat bounce.
Right.
So
right.
We'll hold out hope for that one.
Yeah, and we were used to seeing some of these things move up when they were moving up 50, 60 cents a day for several days in a row. From $2 to $3.50. Well, we just saw it go from $1.50 to $2.35. It may be the beginning of a substantial move.
Yeah, there's a few stocks that are showing signs of consolidation along what appears to be a bottom and indications that a reversal may in fact be underway, or it's just a little bounce before we head to the next lower level, depending on who you talk to. This could be the bottom, or this could be, the edge of a new downturn.
I think with we're starting to see some bad news items. For instance, Dianamed said that they're getting court protection or
going into receivership.
You know what? When these companies start exiting the fray, the other one should benefit to a degree because there's less.
Right.
Eventually.
Well, Dianamed's business model was to do with fulfillment. You remember that?
A fulfillment.
Fulfillment of, they were a logistics company in the space.
Right.
Dynamed was a multi-state cannabis brand platform supporting cultivators, manufacturers, and award-winning brands in the medical adult cannabis. So their platform was, so they say their distribution and direct-to-consumer fulfillment. That was their model, which obviously they didn't get the buy-in from the market they were targeting. Otherwise, they wouldn't be seeking into receivership now. But this, to me, is sort of indicative of how volatile the California market is, because California is where they got started and where they were dominant. And boy, what's that chart look like?
Which one?
Dynamed. D-Y-M-E is the symbol.
Oh, I can imagine. It's...
Usually when you head for receivership, your chart doesn't look that great.
Here we go.
Oh yeah, flatlining.
This thing's trading at 3.5 cents.
Yeah. Are you surprised?
Well, shouldn't it be trading for like nothing? Like,
Well, I don't think so. I mean, ostensibly they have assets that can be liquidated.
right. Well, that's why the receiver comes in, right?
Yeah.
That's the receiver's
The question
function.
is the assets encumbered by a debt? In other words, is there a senior secured creditor in the mix?
Well,
Huh? How about that?
oh,
Producers on acid today. Anyways, thus lies our pontifications for this happy Wednesday. We'll see you all tomorrow. Don't forget to subscribe.